Good. Okay, we are live. Let the wonderful people roll in. How does that sound? All right, they are rolling in. That's what I like to see. Fantastic. Hello, Allegra. Allegra Freedom is the first one on tonight because she's been waiting for RH negative for a long time. Fantastic. Hello, Ashra Baj from Chicago. Hello. Roll Tide as always. Hi, Ludi. I'm good. You? Louisa. Virginia. Beautiful. Hello there. How are you? Hi, Long Island, Janice. Adelaide from South Australia. I had my Australian patient today who was fantastic. I hope she's here. If I see her, I'll say hello to her. Kathy from Nebraska. Port Huron, Michigan. Yes, I'm seeing people as far as Australia and UK and everywhere else in the world. So I love that. California, Kelly. Georgia, Deborah. Holly in lovely Florida. Chrissy in Florida as well. Corinne in Atlanta. Beautiful. A lot of people have been waiting for this. I got queued on Enoch's Twitter page. Nice. Fulton, New York. Wonderful. Hello, Debbie. And Melissa in Australia. I'm also looking for Narelle in Australia because now I work and I help Narelle in Australia, which is awesome. Linda in Orlando. Hello, Linda. You're nearby. Hello, Rebecca from Myrtle Beach. Jordana from Washington, D.C. Beautiful. I love it. Hello, Susan Cosgrove. Nice to talk to you. And I think Michael Boyd might be on as well. These are people that I know. They're wonderful human beings. Good evening, North Carolina and Ohio. Charlie from Dayton, Texas. Beautiful. Philadelphia. Welcome back, Kimberly. I understand. It's crazy stuff. I get it. Totally understand. All right. I think everyone wants to see RH negative. However, before we get to RH negative, I have to give you updates. And then I'll do RH negative. And then I have a special guest coming on at the end of the show. And it's Friday night. And sometimes on Friday nights, because Dr. Edie has a lot of stuff to do on the weekend because this is my second full-time job. And so I always have plenty to do on the weekends. Well, I'm still working on the weekends. But I always try to sleep in a little bit. And even though that doesn't usually happen because I have a little girl who wakes up at like 7 o'clock sharp. So Friday night, sometimes I go a little long. I don't really hold myself to that, but I do have tonight coming on a very good friend. Dr. Williams will be back. We're going to talk about recalling Gavin Newsom. So do me a favor, please hang around for that because it's very important that you know what is going on in California because they need help, okay? And it's also going to be happening in other states. So let's dive in because we have a lot of information to go through. First of all, Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network, your source for health, freedom, and knowledge. Love all of you. Welcome to Friday night, okay? All right, first of all, now I'm careful how I say this because I cannot let out the person who I talk to for many reasons. One is because I actually work with them as a doctor. I take care of them. And two, because they're that high up. Yes. So they're that high up. They are in constant daily, weekly communication with the President of the United States. I've been told they report to two people, and that's it. President of the United States and Attorney General Barr. So there you go. So I saw this person today in person. It's been a little while since I saw them, but it's always great to see them. And I had a chance to chat. And after, after I took care of the person. So here you go. We are in the biggest war you will ever see in probably your lifetime right now. Okay? Right now. I'm going to try not to refer to the person's gender either because my goal is to not, I have to be very careful on how I don't want this to be let out at all because this person is at the top. And so I'm told by this individual that there's a couple things going on. First of all, here you go. The President of the United States very well knows about Q. I can't go deeper than that, okay? The President knows about Q, is very well aware of everything, and we'll see if I get any more information on that in the near future. They're building up. So here you go. Wisconsin the other day, you saw the talk, or I think he did like a, not a round table, but whatever they call them, where there was people in the audience, and he was with Hannity in Wisconsin, and they unveiled that they were bringing 6,000 to 10,000 jobs to Wisconsin, where they're building boats, they're building ships. There's a reason for that. So, first of all, I'm going to tell you about Biden. The president knows full well that Biden is a train wreck, obviously. However, the president also knows that if Biden is elected, Biden will not end up being the president. So whoever it is that is coming in behind him, there will be somebody. There is a reason why the president has been signing all these executive orders, being very cautious on the grid, building up the military. All right. There's a reason why General Milley said what he said months ago, which was, we are going to not let anybody pass Jump Street, or the U.S. military will take care of them, and no amount of money will be spared to build up the U.S. military. The reason for that is we will most likely, in some shape, form, or whatever, and I told you this before, so this is confirming what I had already thought that I was speculating on, but there most likely will be an attack by China on the United States. Not us attacking China. China attacking us. So yes, they will be. And now when I say China, this is not the Chinese people. This isn't even the Chinese government. This is the deep state controlling China. Remember I said the deep state will do anything they can, and they will destroy a planet to keep control of us. I see. Now, I am hoping this is not a physical war coming to us on our soil. However, there's a reason they're building up the military, because there will be an attack, most likely. And I can't say 100% because obviously this person can only give me so much. They can't give me, they're not going to give me military background stuff. They can't. They can only give me, like any journalist, essentially, they can only give me information that I can then take and push, and I can say, okay, here it is. And I actually felt bad, guys. I felt bad because I'm like, oh, I want to give them like really detailed information. But then I actually went and did some research on journalism, because honestly, like I didn't ask to be a journalist, I guess you could say. I mean, we all are at this point. We're digital soldiers. But yeah, I mean, when you get a source, the sources aren't going to tell you exactly the specific thing. They'll tell you to watch for a certain area, watch for a certain area. So I felt better after I did some study on journalists, and when they get tips that, they're not going to give you the straight up, like, I can't give you the thing because then I would be on the inside, and I'm not fully on the inside. However, basically, my understanding is we are going to be under attack from China. That is my understanding. Now, whether that's a full-blown frontal attack, as in military operations, or it's just a cyber attack, which we know could happen, or both. It's very possible. So, they are coming at us at some point or another. The point you guys need to know is be prepared. So if you're training with weapons right now, train with weapons. No, like, just in case if this goes down full blown, be ready. It's that simple, because I don't know how heavy this is going to get. All I know is what this person is telling me is backed up by everything in the news. So you have tons and tons of money being pumped into the military for not to go to China, but for national defense, which is what it's supposed to be for. And then just 2 days ago, you had the president announcing that all these ships are being built. They wouldn't build ships just to sit around. There's a reason why, and he always says we're doing this with speed. We're doing this fast. We need them now. So I don't want to give you anxiety. I'm just letting you know what I'm being told. All right. The one thing I forgot to ask, I actually literally forgot to ask because I was so involved in the information, was I forgot to ask if JFK Jr. was alive. But I will probably be seeing this person again soon, very soon. So I will follow up with that question. However, I also asked if I told them that I went down a lot of rabbit holes. And I said, and this person, by the way, is a very spiritual individual. That's all I'll say. Okay? And I said, there's rabbit holes I go down. Things like reptilian, Dracos. Like, whenever anybody asks me about rabbit holes, I throw out the big ones right away. Like, 9/11 is not a big rabbit hole anymore. Other things are not a big rabbit hole. Like, JFK is not a big rabbit hole anymore. Like, the big rabbit holes are spiritual fights. So I asked about, like, I go down the rabbit holes of, like, reptilian and Dracos, everything else, and all the person said was, yep, absolutely. So I will tell you that I have I don't know any details on it. I didn't go down that full one with them. I mentioned the words, and they were full on yes. So take from that what you will. This person, by the way, this person is very excited, very happy, not down in the dumps, not negative, not worried. However, this is what you have to take from this. Yes, we're winning this war. However, I was also told by this person it is absolutely 100% required that we show up at the voting booth. Because if something doesn't go right, now they're working on stuff behind the scenes to make sure there's not voter fraud. And by the way, China is cloning mail-in voting. What does that mean? They're doubling mail-in votes. The deep state is working very hard to steal this election behind the scenes. We need to show up and we need to vote, because if Biden gets in, I was told directly by this person, if Biden gets in, Biden will not be the president and the republic will go down in flames. It really is that simple. Now, do I love the two-party system? I've told you no, right? And I hope at some point we get away from this whole Republican-Democrat thing and we actually just create leaders who help run a country the right way by the Constitution. However, we can't have Biden. At this point, Trump is the only thing we have. And I'm not saying that from a worshiping standpoint or a Messiah standpoint or anything like that. And I also don't bow to presidents. I don't hold them up as the saviors of the world. Absolutely not. However, this right here is our potentially only shot at being free going forward and saving a republic. Because I will tell you right now, you know it. You're watching Biden. He's a train wreck, right? Biden just said if he was in charge right now, he would take federal authority and force masks on the entire country. He said that 120 million people around the world died, or 120 million people in the U.S. died of COVID, which is, he doesn't even know where he is. Whether he's faking it or not, I don't know. I'm just saying that's very important, okay? So this person was very positive, very sure that we're going to win this whole thing, but that does not mean you can't show up to vote, all right? And I know that Tucker Carlson got things that got sent over to me. Now, keep in mind, Tucker's not trying to be negative, but Tucker is also, he's very real. This isn't just in the bag. Like, they are going to try to stop us from getting to the voting booth. They're going to try to stop us from voting for the President of the United States, which is our constitutional duty. So, no matter what happens, we must show up and make this occur, because this is the shot we have, right? This is what we have to do right now for this point in time, okay? So that's some of the information. I'll have more as it comes. But China, that's what I'm told. China, there's a reason why we are building everything up militarily. So keep an eye on that. Also, an executive order was signed today which is really cool that the federal government is no longer going to go hiring for jobs based on just degrees. They're going based on skill set. Remember when I had a big rant weeks ago about we need to go back to skill sets and not just education, because education can be completely bloated. And maybe in the future, kids won't even be going to college unless it's a very high technical degree like doctor, lawyer, attorney, architects, engineers, etc. Well, he just signed the executive order saying exactly that we are going to go based on skill set. What we're going to have is we're going to have what's called a life economy. We are going back to skills and labor, meaning we're going back to nationalism, baby. We're going back to America. We're going back to built in America. We're going back to taking care of ourselves first. And that means trade schools are going to fly through the roof. So you're going to have electricians, you're going to have plumbers, you're going to have anything trade. On top of that, watch a lot of other college degrees become trades. Imagine if you could learn journalism or communications. Like we have a communications degree today, which is mostly trash. What if we took out of that how to actually communicate and do journalism and how to actually operate media, and we make that a trade instead of an actual college degree, the 4 years of sitting in English class, which does nothing for you. Not that English isn't important, but let's be honest, okay? So we need to go back to that. That also means that you're not going to have $200,000 degrees anymore, hopefully. You're going to have actually back down to maybe $20,000, $50,000 for a degree that actually makes you money out the door. So this is really huge. If you haven't read that executive order, dive into it. Absolutely dive into it, okay? Okay, now that I got through that, who is ready for the RH factor? Because I'm watching my time very closely tonight because I got to bring in Dr. Williams so that we can talk about some recalling of dictator governors, okay? Now, let me first tell you about the RH factor, RH negative, RH positive, okay? Let me tell you how I fell into this. This was completely by accident. This was probably 5+ years ago, right? So I fell into this because I was very fascinated by the ET world. I think it's totally cool. I read a lot of Jim Mars, so I got fascinated in that. I started watching a lot of documentaries. I've always just, for some reason, I've found fascination in ETs. I think it's cool. We live in a vast galaxy and a vast universe, and I just look at it and go, it's amazing. I like to personally, I'm one of those guys who love my faith, but I also love my science, and I kind of like to understand the both, but they should come together because ultimately that's what it is. I mean, we have actually separated the two in this world, and the very sciencey people a lot of times are atheists and they believe in like nothing. But then a lot of times you get very religious people who don't know anything about science. And science is very important. I'm a physician. I mean, you have to know how the physiology of the body works, the biology of the works, the cell works. That's all. And then on top of that, from a spirituality standpoint, we also know that there's energy in a body, right? Energy flows in and out through a body. So it's so fascinating to put those together and actually understand how life works. And so I actually stumbled upon this because I didn't understand what RH negative was. I didn't really, obviously I'm not in that world necessarily all day. I don't have women coming up to me saying I'm RH negative, RH positive. So I stumbled upon it, started learning, and then I was the very first thing I stumbled upon, which made me very fascinating, was going down the road of the Anunnaki, right? That was my first ever experience with RH factor. And what I was understanding and learning about was very possibly, and this was also from Zecharia Sitchin, is understanding that it's very possible, and this is also David Icke too, that we are very possibly a hybrid race, humans, between monkeys and maybe an ET species or human or whatever you want to call it. Now, when I say that, I am not trying to offend anybody. What I'm saying is that there's actually a gap in the human timeline. Now, I look at it like this. I was in a big battle on this because I personally am more of a creationist theory mindset. Like we are created, which I still believe. However, whenever I look at it, I didn't believe in evolution necessarily, but I looked at it and I go, there might be something to it though, not fully, but man, like apes or monkeys, like they're really smart, and we do carry a gigantic chunk of their DNA. Like everything from how, like our fingers, our feet, how they work, the brain, like super smart. So I just took a step back. And again, you have to unlearn to learn sometimes. And I didn't throw out my creation mindset because I still believe in that. But then I looked at this from a science standpoint and go, okay, wait, well, there's something there. But what if, and this is how my mind did it, what if you took both of those and said, neither are right or wrong? What if it's actually somehow a combination? Because you could technically have that too. And if you put those two together, you very possibly get the hybrid theory, which is the Anunnaki came down, they spliced DNA between apes at the time, and then either ET or human or themselves, whatever it could be. There is a giant gap. And let me tell you, nobody on the evolution side and nobody on the creation side can explain that gap. Because I've been researching that gap for a long time, and I buy into kind of bringing both together possibly, because then that also allows me to keep my creation mindset, because I do believe in creation. I believe in God created, but also it makes sense for the science side possibly too, okay? So think about that. Now that's just one theory. I'm going to tell you some other theories, okay? It doesn't mean that theory is right. It just means it's possible. But I find this fascinating because, again, I am a truth seeker, right? I have my faith, I have my science, but I'm also a truth seeker. I can look at something, decide if that's right, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, throw it out. Okay? Look at something else. If it's right, throw it out. But I truly believe there's a reason why creationism and evolution battle so hard against each other, because I think what happens is both want to be right. Evolution people have to be right. Creation people have to be right. What if possibly both have rightness to them? Okay, good. Now, and not everyone's going to agree with that. You don't have to agree with me. I'm just, again, I am coming from a logical standpoint, trying to put a couple of things together, figuring out why the hell this blood thing is so messed up. Why is this happening? Okay, so RH factor. Okay, this comes from the rhesus macaque or macaque, however you want to pronounce it, which is a monkey, okay? It's a very strange anomaly in the blood system, okay? It's a very strange anomaly. It actually pertains to the protein on the red blood cell, okay? So RH factor, there's RH negative and RH positive, okay? 85% of most of the world is RH positive. All right, 94 to 95% of Africans are actually RH positive, and 98 to 99% of Asians are RH positive. Okay, so RH negative is actually a mutation. That's why I said it's an anomaly. If you are an RH negative out there on my little list of comments, if you're an RH negative, you are a bit of a very special person. Okay, I actually have a feeling my wife is RH negative, but I actually kind of want to find out now, because when I tell you some of the characteristics of your personality, it's very, very possible. Okay, now also, the RH negative is quote unquote from an unknown origin, by the way. They haven't figured out where it comes from, all right? So, supposedly, possibly Europe, 25,000, 30,000 plus years ago. We don't actually fully know. Okay, it's an RH system. It's an actual system of blood made up of 61 antigens, all right? The D antigen is what determines RH positive or RH negative. I'm not going to go into all the blood types tonight, because honestly, guys, the reason I took so long to get this to you is because I knew about a lot of it. But it's a very deep subject to go into, all right? Very, very deep. I'm going to have to do another night on it. I'll go in. I'll start basics tonight, and then I'll dive into a little deeper. Maybe we'll go into other theories and deeper into theories if that's cool with you. but I only have so much time tonight before I do the interview, and then we'll jump back into it another night. But I'm going to give as much as I can to you tonight, okay? Good. So it actually is the antigen. It's on top. It's on the outside or top of the surface of the red blood cells. Okay, that's where it comes from. It reacts negatively with Rh positive blood. All right, so a lot of people know about that, obviously, okay? Meaning, if you have an Rh negative individual, right, partnering with an Rh positive, there's technically risk there. All right, and I'm going to dive in deeper into here, okay? Now, if you have an Rh negative with an Rh negative, technically, there's very, very big risk, right? Very, very big risk to that partnership. Now, I'm not saying, especially as a physician, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just letting you know this is what my studies have brought up, and I don't work with this on a daily basis that I know of. I mean, obviously women can be, I'm sure I've seen Rh negative women, but I don't focus this on my practice, okay? It's not about blood to me. I'm working with health and everything else, but not this part of it, okay? So if you have blood work you want to show me, I'll be happy to kind of look at it from a cool standpoint and understand it, but I have not dove down the nutrition aspect of this yet. So I'm going to go into the RhoGAM shot, though, towards the end here, okay? Now, just so you know, an Rh negative mom, if there's an Rh positive child, when I go into this, I'm going to be very delicate because there's some things in this part that can be not offensive, but people can take a little too, not seriously, but take the wrong way, okay? If the child is Rh positive, the Rh negative mom is going to treat, the positive is going to be toxic to that mother. And that's why this is such a big issue. When I say toxin, the body looks at it like it's a toxin. Now, obviously, a child is not a toxin. Remember, I am a creationist pretty much through and through. I believe a child is like a gift from God. I believe a child is like, I love kids. I love babies. I love working with kids. They're a blast. I was holding the little, I think she's 9 months, 6 months. I don't know, something like that. I was doing some babysitting today in practice while another one of my practitioners was seeing a mom. She has a little baby, toddler-ish, and Dr. Dean was babysitting for about 5 minutes and just kind of having fun and walking around with the little one and getting the little girl to walk. So I was doing old-fashioned walking, holding the baby with 2 fingers and kind of going along. So it was actually a lot of fun. Now, this is such a serious Rh negative positive thing that literally the body can kill off the fetus, can kill it off before it even starts because it acts as a toxin. Now, going even deeper than that, I will tell you from a scientific standpoint, and this is a weird thing to talk about because of what we talk about it being kids being total blessings, is when a baby starts from the very first cell and it starts dividing, a cell starting, a baby conception, everything it actually acts upon the body almost like a parasite, because what's happening, it's taking all resources possible from the mother. So even at a deeper level, when you have this Rh positive, it acts as a toxin in the body. The body will go after it and will literally kill it. Okay, that's why they started the whole shot, because obviously they didn't want babies dying because of this, and it's actually considered a homolytic disease. So it cuts off, it kills. That's what it does. All right. It's a antibody RHD immunoglobulin, which, if you understand the science behind that, that's what it is. Okay. You can actually have a spontaneous miscarriage if you have an Rh negative mom with an Rh positive child. Okay. So I don't know if you don't have to. You don't have to tell me on here, but I'm sure some of you have possibly had the shot. I know that a lot of people talk about that. And if people know more about this, obviously, feel free to send over information on me, because One, I am not a female. I don't have to go through pregnancy. I did with my wife, but everything was good and healthy. So I don't study this every single day. I just found it fascinating from the theory standpoint. So if anyone has more information, I am happy to look at it because I find it fascinating. Okay. So I am definitely not the quote unquote authority in this area. It's just a fascinating thing for me to look at and read. So in the United States, 15% of women are RH negative. So if you're RH negative out there, you you are part of the 15%. All right, mostly Caucasians, which is also fascinating to me because that tells me logically, just critically thinking here, that again there's something to the African DNA. And I'm still reading that book, Target Africa. Why do they want to go after the Africans? It's not just resources. There's some other reason they're going after that DNA, because man started in Africa. Humans started in Africa. Whatever happened on this planet, however this whole thing was created, we also know biblical times goes back to the Middle East, obviously, but also the Middle East, South Africa is just south of the Middle East. It all encompasses one general area, right? And there's something to the African DNA. That's why I think the vaccines ties to this at some point. I'm just trying to figure out what it is necessarily, but it's very, very fascinating. Okay, now here we go. Here are some of the theories. One of the first theories is that it's actually Viking or Celtic, or I'm sorry, Celtic, I should say. Viking or Celtic genetics, because they're very, very different. So have you heard of the red hair, the freckles, things like that? That is very possible that's where it comes from, that it's actual fractal genetic quantum DNA. That's a whole other road to go down. Okay, so it's actually, if you look in this theory, they actually talk about having embedded immortality in DNA when it comes to Rh negative. Now, that may seem far-fetched. However, keep in mind, biblical DNA, or biblical, the people of biblical times lived far longer than we're living now. Okay, so somebody on here says they have Viking, Celtic, and the Rh negative. That's fascinating. So that could actually technically back up that theory. Now, the other thing about the immortality. Now, I know some people panic when they hear immortality, and I'm not saying that you're God. I'm just saying immortality. That's all I'm talking about. The pineal gland potentially is an anti-aging gland, all right, as well as an awakened gland, all right? So that's also fascinating. If you pull the pineal gland into it, also it's anti-cancer. Like if the pineal gland is not calcified and working correctly, melatonin can kill off cancer supposedly. And on top of that, melatonin is supposedly anti-aging. So that might pull in the actual immortality aspect of the Rh negative. So what if Rh negative is actually what we're all supposed to be? I'm going to go deeper into this, okay? I'm going to have to speed up a little bit because I'm on a time crunch. And again, I'm going to go into this more later, but I'm giving you the basic stuff. Tell me if you like this so far, if this is the direction you want to go and what you want to hear, because I do want to fully give you guys tons of value. And if there's other stuff, I'm happy to research it and I'll bring it to you, okay? Now, here's theory number 2. Theory number 2 is the Nephilim, biblical. The Book of Enoch. Now, what if the Watchers came down, which are the Nephilim, the Watchers came down, as the Book of Enoch says, and they partnered with humans from here, right? And then you had the Rh negative genetics created. That also, I haven't gone down that road a ton because I have to get my Book of Enoch and read through it, but that is a theory. So it's very possible that if you're Rh negative, you might be part Watcher. So there you go. So there you go. I will tell you, I'm going to go into this in a second, though. If you're Rh negative, you might actually have some superpowers. So there are actually some interesting things about that, which I'm going to touch on in a second. But if you are Nephilim, whatever you want to call it, however you want to pronounce it, it's possible that you actually have superpowers. So let's go into that in a second. Now, the other theory is the one I told you already. I kind of let the cat out of the bag, and that is the Anunnaki theory. It's very possible. What I've read about the Anunnaki. Now, keep in mind, I never have it on me because I'm always looking at it. Jim Marrs, right? Rule by secrecy. If you go to Jim Marrs' Rule by Secrecy, the very last chapter goes in to all of that. It goes into the Watchers. It goes into the Anunnaki. It also goes into all the secret books that the elite and globalists are reading behind the scenes and what they're holding from you as in quote-unquote the Great Awakening. So that's in there, right? Now, supposedly the Anunnaki possibly, this is just from research, the Anunnaki were far more advanced than us, right? Now keep in mind, we think we're advanced because we have all this cool stuff. We're really not that advanced. Like even Space Force has much bigger and much cooler stuff than we do. And there were past civilizations that supposedly had far more advanced technology than we do now, right? And even Stephen Greer, if you watch Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, even Stephen Greer says we are so far behind from a technological standpoint, it's unbelievable. And actually, if all goes correctly and we go into the next phase of our planet, we might be actually connecting with all this crazy new technology. And I actually felt really good today because the person I spoke to is a very, very religious, spiritual individual. And when I brought this stuff up, it did not faze them one bit. And this is a person who is very biblically centered. They know some stuff. That's all I can say. And so I was like, wow, this is pretty impressive. So moving on. The Anunnaki. It's very possible that we're a test tube baby. Who knows? I don't know. That doesn't... Again, I'm laughing about this stuff because it's theory. I'm not going to even tell you the theory that I believe in because if I do that, I'm going to get people pissed at me. And I just like to tell you theories and speculation. And I'm not saying this is 100% fact. I'm just letting you know what it is. I will tell you... The reason I say this is not because I personally care if people don't like me. I'm telling you, I get message behind the scenes that I won't show you guys, okay? Like, some of the things that I get, I'm just saying, okay? And I prefer less of those. That's all I'd say. All right, now, here you go. Person with the highest Rh negative, so people with Rh negative are more likely to get abducted by aliens, just so you know. So, alien abductees, the ones who I guess have survived, actually come out to be more Rh negative. So... I think Rh negative are more intuitive. I think you're more in touch. I think you're more just in line with everything that's going on. You can pick up on things. Like, for example, one of my associates today, I will protect this person, actually saw something in the sky that I could not see and just said, something opened up, but everything is okay, and interesting, good things are happening. And they can see things that I can't see. So a lot of people don't believe in that stuff. I will tell you, I've been around these people long enough to know they don't bullshit me. And they're really good people. And they're very intuitive. And they've been right more times than they've ever been wrong. Like, I don't actually think I've seen any of them be wrong. And they can see things. So I know this world exists. I have not personally been in touch physically with it. I have not seen some of these things, but I know enough that I can believe it happened because I trust the people who I know see it, and I know multiple people who are that in tune. Okay, so very fascinating. So now the RH features. Ready? Here you go. Here are your features. Now, by the way, a lot of people were panicked if this means they're reptilian or this means they're draconian or they're reptiles. We all have reptile in us. That's called the reptilian brain. I mean, that's scientific. You can actually go and go on YouTube and look that up. I mean, we all, if that is the case, and there is this reptilian thing out there, we're all part of that. So that's why they call the reptilian part of the brain, right? It's in all of us. So don't be panicked. Actually, supposedly telepathy is coming, because if these ETs are out there, they don't always communicate via voice and via talking. They actually communicate via reading a mind. Like it's telepathic, it's ESP, that kind of stuff. So very fascinating world. Now, here are some of the features. Rh negatives tend to have an extra vertebrae. Okay, extra vertebrae. There you go. Lower body temperatures. Okay, decreased lower body temperatures. Decreased blood pressure. Now, when I say that, it doesn't mean they're unhealthy. It just means they hold a lower temperature. They hold a lower blood pressure. Now they have increased mental activity. They increase mental activity, meaning real fast. Their mind is constantly going. You can't satiate them with enough information. You can't satiate them with enough maybe education, learning, etc. They're just like boom, 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 right? Do you know people out there that are like that? They're just like I actually wonder if I'm Rh negative, because like I cannot consume enough information. Like when my wife is ready to rest sometimes and just like chill and take a break, like I gotta read something, I gotta watch something, I gotta know. So it's very fascinating. They have ion shielding around their body. Okay, what does that mean? Have you ever heard of people who can read auras or can read outside of somebody? You might have a glow to you. You might have a spirituality to you that no one else has or can pick up on. And I know a lot of people like that too. So I know that's fully legit. And there's actually a camera that I have forgotten the name off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up, where you can take a picture of like fruits or vegetables cut in half, and I'm totally forgetting the name of it. If you know it, just put it up here and I'll shout you out. You cut it in half, and if you take the picture, it actually shows the light, the radiation, the colors coming off, right? It actually shows you that there's energy to food, there's energies to things, okay? So that's very fascinating. I love that stuff. It's totally cool. Very highly sensitive to EMFs. Electromagnetic frequencies, radiation, Wi-Fi, cell phones, etc. My wife is a perfect example of this. She does not do well with EMFs. She does not do well with Wi-Fi. She cannot be around Macs. Like I have Macs here. She does not do well around those. She can feel it coming off and she just wants it away, okay? And then hypersensitive. Krillian photo. Thank you, Dr. Carol. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Awesome. Laura, exactly. Dr. Lori, thank you. Yes, that's what it is. Krillian photography. Thank you. Hyper vision and senses, meaning they pick up on stuff very easily. Very, very easily, okay? Hypersensitive to stuff. Hearing, seeing, smell. Hypersensitive. Have you ever been around somebody, like, for example, I don't smell things. Like you could have something burning down and I'm like, yeah, I don't smell anything. My wife can pick a scent out of, it's insane how sensitive she is to smells, to tastes, etc. Okay, so it's very fascinating. Now I'm gonna lose a little time here, so I'll go into the Rogam shot a little bit more. I'll just tell you right now, the Rogam shot, and I think that's how you pronounce it, Rogam, full of mercury. They actually have connections of Rogam to autism. So if you're an Rh negative mama and you're trying to have kids, be cautious. There's actually another shot called Winrow. It's very hard to get. I believe it's still out there. According to my research, it was. If it's not, I'll find something else. But Winrow, it's a mercury-free. It's actually, of all crazy places, it's actually manufactured by Bayer. So you can actually get that one, because the Rogam shot is actually deadly from a mercury standpoint, okay? It's literally preserved in mercury. If you've had it, don't panic. I'm telling you, don't panic, okay? You just detox as much out as you can, and we handle it any way possible, all right? That's what we do. It's most important in the second child. That's what I've read, okay? Not necessarily the first. Also, to avoid having major problems, home birth, or not home birth, but natural delivery, non-C-section. When bloods cross each other, that's when bad things can happen sometimes, okay? So C-section, obviously not. I was reading some home birthing clinics that actually talk about Rh negative, Rh positive. So it's very, very important to do your best at having at least a natural birth and home birth if you possibly can, which a home birth is amazing. If you've had a home birth, well done. If you haven't, you had a hospital with natural birth, well done there, because that's not easy either. So well done. If you've had a natural birth, well done. If you had a C-section, whether it was emergency or non-emergency, don't worry. You can still recreate the same bacteria in the baby and the child as you could before. And hey, things happen. Do not beat yourself up. It does occur. You do the best you can. I tell everybody, do the best you can with what you have at that time. Does that make sense? Good. So I rushed through that part at the end. I will do another one of these, okay? But was this helpful for you guys who are fascinated by the Rh negative, Rh positive? And I will go into the more of the theories. So next time I talk, we'll go deeper into the shot, but I'll go deeper down the theory road, which is some crazy theories, right? It could be as simple as Viking and Celtics. It could be as deep as Anunnaki and the Nephilim. So there is some crazy stuff that are involved. And again, don't panic, don't freak out, don't do any of that stuff. Right now, we're just communicating on some very cool stuff, and I find it fascinating, and I want you guys to know as much as humanly possible. And yes, according to my contacts, as well as my research, it doesn't take away anything from religion, but there are definitely some damn reptilians going on, and there's something to this planet, and our job now is to defeat the darkness of whatever that is and the humans that they have taken over and are now messing with our country and the planet. We have to defeat them, okay? So I'm going to dive in now. We're going to talk to a good buddy of mine. I'm going to pull him into the conversation now. He should be ready to rock and roll, and we are going to talk about something very important that affects all of you guys out there. It affects everybody. The crazy states out there who are still locking you down and not allowing you to be human beings, maybe pushing the mask problem, pushing everything else, and you don't deserve to be locked down because you have freedoms, you have rights. And so I'm going to bring him in now to get started, and we're going to talk about a event coming up this Sunday for California that has honestly some really great celebrities getting involved, some people you need to know about who are behind us, who are helping pushing this forward, and also the what should we call it? We're going to talk about recalling the election and of Gavin Newsom, and he calls him Adolf Newsom. So let's bring in Dr. Cordy Williams. I'm going to pull him in right now. And here he is. Oh, where are you? Where are you, buddy?
How are you, man?
Hold on one second. There we go. There we go. Now I got you.
All good. All good. Look at that good-looking T-shirt, man. I'm telling you, patriotic hat.
I love it.
Checked out today.
The last time we saw each other, we have to have a little bromance here first, because we hung in California when I was out in Sacramento. I got to meet Dr. Cordy for the first time, and honestly, when I get together with all these guys, we're not even just chiropractors. We're like brothers. Like, it's a brother and sisterhood. Like, there's hugging right from the start. Like, I met Cordy for the first time, and literally, like, it's like we know each other. We're brothers. It's patriots. It's everything combined. So, buddy, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. You know, we're over here. We're moving the needle and just trying to change things, man.
I love it. And you have been circulating everywhere. I actually had Carrie Kasem on last night, and I know you just did the Red Pill podcast, and you were on OAN. Tell everyone a little bit about your experience on OAN, because obviously that's a big national network now, and it's gaining momentum.
Yeah, so Graham Ledger had me on the Daily Ledger. Awesome guy, like huge patriot. What you see is what you get with that guy. I mean, he's a class act, really class act. Invited me on, just kind of shared the story, and it was an honor. It was an honor because, I mean, they're literally in the press briefing with Trump like every single day.
Right. Yeah, so you're getting. I mean, the good thing about them is they're actually journalism again, which is very rare because we haven't had journalism for God knows how long, and it's a place that actually likes America, which is shocking because is that an espresso cup?
It is, baby. Doing it, baby. It's Friday at 7:15, man. You got to light it up. That is an espresso cup. I'm not doing the pinky finger though. I'm flexed. I'm flexed. I just have 3 fingers on the cup. So
that's fantastic. So you guys have a bit of an event coming up. Is it this Sunday? Is that correct?
This Sunday, the 28th. Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about this because everyone thinks right now that we're not California. Like I'm in Florida, I'm one of the freest states out there. But I don't think this way. But a lot of people are like, I'm in a free state. California's just a bunch of crazy liberals. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, and if it falls, it falls. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But in reality, it's not true. One, we have to support our brothers and sisters in different states. But on top of that, if we don't handle places like California and New York and other places, if they fall, they're going to try to get our states too. So we really have to speak up now. So give us some background behind it. What's going on in California, but also what's happening with this event.
Well, I agree with the crazy liberal part of what you said, because that's definitely true for the majority, right? 100%. And what I like to say is these are just people that are just misled. And they're misled by what Billy DeMoss and I affectionately call fear porn,
right?
Which is just, the fake news, right? So they're just misled. We just need to keep sprinkling seeds on them and slowly try to convert them back to common sense, right?
Right.
Because they've kind of strayed away from that. So as far as this weekend, what I always want people to know and realize is New York and California are the head and the neck.
Right.
So goes New York and California, so goes the country. And in this climate, I think we all need to really be on edge, and that's why I love your show and I love what you do. And even before you and I had our bromance, I don't know what you would call it when a wife has a romance with your bro. I don't know what that is, but my wife's second boyfriend, basically, Jason Dean, like we really have to start to think about where is the country heading. So I appreciate your show for just informing people and letting them know that, dude, I mean, we're on a fast ticket train or bus towards socialism. Gavin Newsom went out today. He's trying to convince some of the counties to go back to, I'm not going to call it quarantine, I'm going to call it house arrest. And Governor Abbott of Texas, I don't know if you were talking about this earlier or not, but literally he's, they're like closing down bars again and all that. And man, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And so what we're deciding to do, and for a bunch of reasons, is, we've had a governor that literally we have a $54 billion deficit.
That's insane.
Right. I mean, that's literally the budget for most states, right? Or their budget is half that. We're the second or fifth largest economy in the nation, and I think we're number like 8 in like the world. So California is huge. We've got a huge homelessness problem. We're a sanctuary city. So in San Francisco, you have people defecating on the ground. There's no solution to wildfires. There's no solution to the water issue. I could go on and on and on. But this guy is Nervous Nancy's nephew, and Nancy Pelosi, as I affectionately call her. And he's running for president in 2024. That's a fact. And I haven't just heard Republicans say that. I've heard liberals say that. And so if he's not your problem right now, he's going to be your problem in about 3 or 4 years. And so that's why, all our friends out there, all the Kairos out there, like, we need your support. We really, really do. And I'm totally there. I was talking to Dr. Eric Naputi the other night, and I already told Eric, I said, dude, when you need me down there, I'm there. I will have a flight. Jason, same thing goes for you. Anytime you guys need my support, I'm 100% there. My family's there. Whatever we can do financially, like, we're there 100%. Because we've got to mobilize as docs, and now is our time to do that. We just decided after the rallies to open up and masking and all that we really got to cut the dragon off at the head, and we said we got to get this guy out. A guy named Orrin Heatley, developed a PAC called the Patriot Coalition. They submitted the petition probably about, I don't know, 10, 12 days ago now. And the way it works with the California Constitution is once a petition is submitted, you have about 160 days. And we've got to get 1.5 million signatures. We've got to raise about $4 million. We're going for 2 million signatures. But Chris Lippy, my business partner of 1776 Forever Free, we decided that we really needed to catch this bull by the horns. There you go. Shameless plug.
That's right.
I love it. Look at that beautiful shirt. That beautiful shirt. And, Jason, like me, we are lovers of this medium. So we sport this medium because this medium brings out the guns, and guns out, funds out. That's what I always say. But, yeah, so 1776 Forever Free. And Chris and I just really thought that we needed to start moving the needle on getting this guy out of office because, dude, I mean, he's slow walking, just like Cuomo. He's slow walking, opening up, and it's ridiculous because my friend Buzz Patterson, that's running for District 25, he said, and I know you'll agree with me on this, the economic pandemic has already proved to be worse than the actual pandemic itself, and we haven't seen even close to the amount of businesses that are going to file for Chapter 11 and go into bankruptcy. I mean, Hertz, 102-year-old company, right?
100%. Yep, 100%. It's now I have interviewed in the past Joy Villa, who is an amazing individual, and I believe she is going to be there Sunday. Is that correct?
100%. Joy's going to be there. UFC champion and now UFC Hall of Famer Tito Ortiz is going to be there.
Nice.
And some guy named Dr. Cordy Williams. And then Woody Woodrum, who ran the campaign in San Diego for Donald J. Trump. And then a guy named Steve Franks that has been heavily involved in the kind of political process within California. And, man, we're just trying to get money. We're trying to get signatures for California residents. And I don't mean, everything requires funding,
sure,
right?
Of course.
So whether you buy a T-shirt and you donate $3 to 1776 Forever Free, that money's going to go towards not only the rallies, but in California, of course, everything has to be like 3 times the price as it is in Florida. Hint, hint, Dr. Cordy, you should move to Florida. But I got to fight here, baby. I got to fight here.
No, I want California to stand. I talked to Carrie yesterday. We were actually talking on the phone before, in the afternoon before we went on at night, and I made a mention to her about like Florida, and she said, but this is the problem. California is a beautiful state. It's an absolutely gorgeous state. And there is no reason it should fall and we should walk away, because in reality, we have to stand up as patriots and we have to fight back and we have to take these states back, even if they're run in the future by a Democratic individual. It doesn't necessarily matter. It matters that they run on values, they run on actual helping people versus helping themselves. And as long as California, the people are put first, it doesn't matter necessarily who's running it, as long as they're running it properly. But California can't fall. New York can't fall. Like, I don't want to have a new constitution with like 48 states instead of 50 states. We need to be patriots and back up our states and create a good environment where people can live, people can prosper, and be free.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. And this is one of the themes of what I'm going to talk about on Sunday at the rally. It's like, Jason, when did being a patriot and being American become uncool? Like, when was it not cool to stand for the flag? When was it not cool to, like, just adore seeing like a Marine or a service member in uniform and standing up for the national anthem and showing them that respect? And I just kind of think I'm just one of those believers that, the souls that have gone before us and the souls that are 6 feet under right now, I just kind of think that we have to pay homage to those people. And there's just this trend and this energy away from giving our kids and giving your children and my children and our viewers' children out there those patriotic values of, like, it's America first. It's not policies, it's not politics, it's not political affiliation. Like, what's good for America as a whole, and being inclusive of all groups, not just one segment, because it's the sexy thing to social media, and it's cute in an ad or cute on a newspaper or in a Facebook post, but what's good for everybody, and I just kind of think we got to get back to that.
I 100% agree. It's so when is this event on Sunday? What time is it? What are the details, so people obviously who are listening now who are in California can get there, but also if people do want to come in and give us the details on that.
Yeah, so we're doing it at the administration building, which is 1600 Pacific Highway, and there's this big kind of freaky looking Pirates of the Caribbean boat called the Star of India, right? And it's in the San Diego harbor, if you will. It's right in front of the admin building in San Diego, and we're just going to do it right there in the grass, all right? And it's a huge grass area. We're going to have tents set up for petitions. We're going to have tents set up for donations. Coffee Anderson is going to be playing.
Cool.
So we got him again. He's going to be playing throughout, and it's going to be a different structure. It's going to be about 2 hours from 1 to 3 p.m. We've only got about 5 speakers, all right, and we structured it that way on purpose. Coffee will be playing music throughout, so we'll do like a speaker. He'll be playing a set or two, speaker, a set or two. We're going to be doing that, the Cal Jam feel to it. Petitions, donations, really good time. We're expecting about 6,000 people. It's going to be 1 to 3 p.m. This Sunday. We will be live streaming it. If you're not a California resident and you can't sign the petition, my ask would be buy a shirt. 1776 Forever Free. We've got the blue ones in, got the sexy female tanks. I'm sending you one for your beautiful wife.
Thank you.
And they're also taking donations. It's the least I could do, bro.
Awesome. I appreciate that. So where can people go? If they're in California, where do they go to get this petition signed? But then if they're not in California, and obviously we're not invested from a citizen standpoint, where can they go to get this and to donate and to get shirts and stuff like that?
Yeah, cool. So there's 2 things you can do. If you're in California and you want to sign the petition, there's a couple of different options. The easiest one would be go to www.1776foreverfree.com, and just right up on the timeline up there, my web designers have it where you can just literally click on Gavin Newsom's really ugly face, and it'll take you immediately to the petition, and you can sign it. Or you can go to recallgavin2020.com, and you have to print it off, sign it. The instructions are really basic. My business partner, Chris Lippy, he did a video on how to fill it out, but it's really basic. You want to make sure whatever county you live in is the petition you sign, right? You want to put that associated county. Beyond that, if you're not in the state, you can go on 1776foreverfree.com. You can purchase a shirt there. They're right on the front part of the first page there. Go to the bottom, pick out what shirt you want. There's also a donation button. So, ideally, I'd love to have people around the country wearing these awesome shirts because I think they're pretty cool and we get a lot of compliments on them. And then just donate $3. I mean, if we got 200,000 people donating $3, imagine how far that would go.
Totally. That would be huge. And what is the process? So let's say, not say we get this. When you guys get these petition or these signatures petition and this is done, what is the process of then getting him eliminated from his seat?
Yeah, well, and I'm going to answer that. I just wanted to acknowledge somebody right now because I know we have a lot of chiropractors on there. There is a doctor named Dr. Leah Garland that I wanted to acknowledge out of Pennsylvania, and that girl leveled up, man. She bought like 20 shirts.
Nice.
And I'm just going to say it, like $600 worth of shirts.
Beautiful.
And yeah, for office patients, I mean, and I don't mean to blow up her spot like that, but I kind of do because it's people like that and doctors that just really move the needle, like Dr. Tanya Reynolds.
I'm gonna buy one for each of my staff. Okay.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that, man. I mean, Dr. Tanya Reynolds leveled up on the first rally, and a lot of those proceeds were what we used to fund the rally, basically. But yeah, to answer your question, so first of all, we have to get 2 million signatures. I mean, and I'm just going to say that number. It's 1.5, but really 2 million. And I would say the cutoff date is November 17th, but really you need them by November 7th because they've got to get mailed from whatever county like basically what happens if you mail them to Sacramento, it's this weird, of course, it's a bureaucracy, so it's
Yeah.
an inefficient process, right? So you mail it to Sacramento, and then it goes back to the county to be verified or something, and then it gets shipped back to the state capitol. So basically, you need about 10 days. So the cutoff date for petitions is November 7th. But what happens is, if we get the 2 million signatures, well, let me rephrase that. When we get the 2 million signatures, because they're going to throw out probably 250,000 of them because of BS technicalities, what's going to happen is there's going to be a runoff election. So it's my understanding, 30, 60 days after, don't quote me on that number, but that's just kind of what I remember from doing a little bit of research about Governor Gray Davis when he was recalled, that 30 to 60 days after, there will be a special election. And in the situation of Gray Davis, like literally there were 100 names on the ballot. Some guy named Arnold Schwarzenegger put his name on the ballot, and then, obviously he ended up winning.
That's crazy.
So,
It's such a crazy system.
It is, right? Totally. And it's different for every state. That's what makes it even weirder.
No, totally. Now, here's my final challenging question for you. You ready?
Shoot, brother.
When you and I were hanging out on Friday night when I first landed that night, because when I go to West Coast, I tend to stay up as late as I can, and that helps me kind of reset the clock internally, and I can do better the weekend. Yeah. And we were, having a nice little cigar together outside, and we discussed Dr. Cordy Williams possibly running for office at some point. Has there been any movement on this initiative?
Well, technically, I've been told that during the recall movement, it is not wise of me to publicly comment on a beautiful question such as that. But I will say this: Chris Lippy and I are getting involved in definitely moving the needle, raising money, supporting people that support patriotism and support the Constitution. So I don't know what office it's going to be, but we're going to be heavily involved in trying to move the needle. Because, man, I'm just really frightened. My biggest thing is that your kids and my kids are going to grow up in America that we don't even recognize. And that's my biggest fear. And it's scary, man, because, you go into Vons, Sprouts, Albertsons, Safeway, any grocery store right now, and it feels like everybody's about to do surgery on an avocado. And I'm like, what are we coming to right now? This is crazy. So
I fully understand, man. Before we go, give them one last little plug on this event. Who's going to be involved? What time? Where?
Yes. So it is 1776 Forever Free. Chris Lippy and I, and also another group called We Have Rights, and Dan Summers. We've got Tito Ortiz. We've got Joy Villa, myself, Woody Woodrum, Steve Franks, probably about 6,000 people from 1 to 3 p.m. This Sunday. And we'll have a bunch of tents set up to take donations. Obviously people that live in the state can sign and sign petitions. And my ask to you would be, if you got $3 you can spare and you don't have a good-looking T-shirt yet, go to 1776 Forever Free, and we got these awesome tanks. All that stuff would be a huge support to the cause. And any way we can help your state out, message below, private message me. We would love to help your state as well with whatever you're trying to do to whether it's open up the government, that state, open up your business, your practice, undo the masking. If we can support you or blow you up, we would absolutely love to do that.
I appreciate that, man. Do me a favor when you're out there. Obviously, I know you guys are going to have cameras on everything. You have phones on everything. Let me know, and I will do my best to share that along, because one of the other big things is when these events happen, we need to keep the positive vibe going across the country. And just because it's California fighting and it's not other states right now, if we can send that positive video energy out there to the masses and share it over and over again, that helps everybody.
We'll be Facebook Live-in, Jason, from Cordy Lee Williams, D.C., Dr. Cordy Williams, which is my public figure page, and then 1776 Forever Free. So we'll be Facebook Live streaming as much as we can, and I'm going to ask everybody from stage to do the same thing.
Awesome, man. I, as always, appreciate all your work. Obviously, your service to this country, which was amazing. What you do now, healing people, helping people, and then obviously your not political run yet, but what you're doing out there and just, being vocal. I appreciate it all. You're obviously a complete warrior and patriot, and I appreciate you being on tonight.
No, I appreciate you, dude. You're a great friend. And whenever we call or text, you always answer, and I know you're a busy guy, and love and appreciate you, man. And any way I can ever support you, Jason, I'm there for you.
I appreciate it. Ditto back to you. Have a wonderful night, Dr. Williams, and I will talk to you soon, and let me know if you need anything this weekend, okay?
All right, brother. Thank you, buddy. God bless you. Thanks again,
You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Dr. Cordy Williams, there he was. Do me a favor. Go out there, support them as much as humanly possible. It's 1776foreverfree.com. If you can go and buy a movie on Amazon or Netflix or wherever it is you purchase movies, or Apple, you can go and get a shirt. It's the same thing. And at this point, I would rather give that money to patriots who are actually trying to move the needle in America and regain this country back than giving money to the globalists for some, 2 hours of entertainment when we should be studying, researching, being on top of this, and making this a better world. So that is it for me. Do me a favor, though. Don't jump off. I will take some questions right now because it is Friday night, and I know people are itching for answers on things, whether it be healthcare, because I'm a slam doctor, man. I'm helping people all over the world. I am happy to help you with whatever health challenges you have. I can tell you as much about our RH negative as possible, or anything else going on in the world right now. I am happy to help you with. So I'll give a few minutes. We'll do some question and answer and help all of you out there. And as they roll in, serve, help people. Those are the two biggest things. Serve and help people, and keep the positive vibes, prayers, meditations, whatever it is you do, keep it going because it's important. Yes, Illinois, I know you're next. Illinois, we have to do the same thing. You have some crazy people running the country there. It's very, very, very possible we need to have that changed. The trolls are out again. Fantastic. I'll just keep blocking everybody. I love it. How do you pull mercury out? Mercury, my wife, helped pull mercury out of my wife in her pituitary gland, actually. And we have a special way we detox that out. We actually don't detox, as I told you before. See, I always say that word. We allow the body to restore its natural cellular detoxification pathways. We help your body restore itself. And then we allow the body to heal itself naturally, because who is a doctor or who is a scientist to say what a body can or cannot do? We allow the body to decide what it can do. I will talk about the MTHFR gene mutation. I will talk about that. I will just tell you right now, a lot of people ask me about this, okay? And what do I do about that? Well, I don't worry a lot about genetics. Do you know why? Because genetics, as we know by epigenetics, 98% overturnable are genetics. So if you have that genetic issue, we just turn the methylation cycle back on. We correct the problem. Every single B vitamin I have in my possession right now is to restore methylation, not to bypass it, but to restore it. So yes, I handle that all the time, and I'll talk more about that in the future. Good. What causes vitiligo? That's a good idea. I mean, when you have a skin issue like that, I'll have to look that one up for you. I've not said that we've overturned anything like that. That's a whole other different story. So ask me, and I'll go look for you what we can do. Okay. Let's see. Detoxing the pineal, detoxification while pregnant or breastfeeding. So while breastfeeding, you just want your detoxification systems going, your bowels and bladder. You want them constantly pushing stuff out. That's what we do. Okay. Is bone broth good for you? Bone broth is very good for you. Hi, here you go. By the way, let me drop a little sneak peek. Okay. Dr. Natasha McBride, and let me give her proper due, because I know she has there we go. Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, who is the author of the GAPS books, the GAPS diet. She has reached out to me, and she will be on the show very soon, probably the beginning of next month. So if you like Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, she will be on the show and we'll be talking about different stuff because she educated me on broth. And so her and her assistant educated me in that area, and very fascinating. So I'll bring some more information to you on that. I did not hear about the University of Tennessee mandating a flu shot and COVID-19. Haven't heard. So here's the thing about schools. I'm going to go off on a wild guess, and I'm going to say that there will be no school this year for anybody. All right. Now, am I 100%? No, not 100%. But based on what I see and what's going on, I do not see anyone going back to school this year. I don't think that the administration, the president, is going to put children at risk in school systems when we have as much chaos going on as we have right now. So that's my opinion on that. I will talk more on RH negative, but I hope you are listening tonight. Let's see. Sasha Stone is coming. Sasha Stone and I are just getting... Sasha Stone's in the middle of a big seminar series right now, and so we're working on dates. Sasha Stone has personally emailed me, and so is the assistant. We are just getting schedule knocked out. And a lot of times, guys, when it comes to interviews, so I have to brag a little bit, okay? I did not know that 3 years ago, when I was talking to random people around the country on healthcare, I did not know that going 3 years forward, I would be talking to international bestsellers. I didn't know I would be talking to Ted Nugent. I didn't know that I would be connected to the President of the United States. I didn't know that people like the Sasha Stones of the world, who are very, very big in their world, or the Dr. Natasha Campbell McBrides, I did not know that I'd be talking to all these amazingly cool people. John Perkins, John Perkins, The Confessions of an Economic Hitman, it was a international bestseller. Like, the guy is a big deal, and he was the nicest person in the world to me. Super sweet. They got back to me super fast in email. But the biggest issue is not the people. At this point, I have the poll to get people in. It's really just figuring out schedules. That's what it comes down to, because they're busy. I'm busy. I only have so much time in a day to get interviews in, plus do the show. And so it really comes down to just getting schedules fixed. But everyone who we reach out to, or whoever reaches out to us, we make it happen. It's just a matter of schedule. So I appreciate that. If you guys want anybody, you have to let me know, and I will go find them, and I will hunt them down, and we will talk to them. Because, yeah, Sasha Stone is awesome. He's a really cool guy. Good. Let's see. Someone's going to the Ron Paul School curriculum. That I said, fantastic, Margot. That's awesome. Well done. Yeah, Ted Nugent was fantastic. And let me tell you, no matter who I've spoken to, no matter how big a celebrity they've been, I will tell you, I always talk to them beforehand and obviously get on the same page. Every single one of them has been the nicest, most personable people I've ever dealt with. So it's really pretty cool. Even in public when I've talked to them, in person. So that's been pretty awesome. What are my opinions on keto? I truly believe that the best diet out there is somewhere between hardcore carnivore and paleo. Okay, so the reason I say that is because no matter who I work with, I want more protein. I want more red meat. Now, some people don't like that, and I don't force them to, obviously, because you can do it with other stuff. But I have the science behind me. Grass-fed, pasture-raised, organic red meat actually makes the brain turn back on. I have personal experience from that. My colleagues have personal experience of that. I just did a podcast a couple weeks ago again on carnivore. And I will tell you, it's not just me. Go on YouTube, go on podcasts. I have an interview with Dr. Sean Baker from probably now, oh my gosh, it's been 4 or 5 months now I did. Dr. Sean Baker is a surgeon MD who walked away from that world because carnivore changed his life, and he goes to the absolute science of it. Ben Greenfield talks about the science of carnivore. So am I perfect carnivore all the time? No, of course not. I mean, tonight we had what did I have tonight? I think we had venison. I think that's what my wife was cooking, venison. We had some cauliflower rice, which I love, and we had some green peas. You know, that's what we had. It was very simple. We are very busy people. It's so funny. People talk about, well, you should raise your own chickens and you should have your own eggs and you should do all this fermenting. And trust me, I have friends that do that and I love them to death. And trust me, I think it's amazing if you can do it. The problem is our time gets so limited. And so for us, it's really about buying the best quality food that we can cook and make fast, because between work and here, it just gets busy. So yeah, but somewhere between carnivore and keto, all right, or I'm sorry, and paleo is where you need to be. The carbs have to go down, guys. There's no way of getting around bringing the carbs down. You have to have carbs low. And no, it is not true that carbs are required to live, right? Yes, you should have some carbs in your diet to make things run properly. But like, I know people that have gone 100% carnivore that take in no carbs, and they're healthier than anybody who eats carbs. So just letting you know, okay? My wife is commenting on here about workbooks. Oh, she's doing curriculum. Yeah, good. Awesome. Any more couple questions? Have I ever eaten alligator? I have. I've eaten alligator and I've eaten rattlesnake. Alligator actually is delicious. Rattlesnake was also delicious. That was a long time. It was years and years and years ago. But yeah, there you can get a lot of alligator down here, meat-wise. What percentage of total calories for carbs? I don't really necessarily go on calories. I will tell you that under 50 grams of carbs per day is really, really like good. And if you want to be a complete rock star, go under 20 grams of carbs a day. Okay, rock star under 20, kicking butt under 50. Once you start entering up towards 75 and 100, you're going in the wrong direction. Wrong direction. When you're over like 100, you're marching towards diabetes at some point in your life. It's the body doesn't want to pump that much insulin. Got to bring it down. Okay. Awesome. 15-year-old boy, yeah, handle that, not a problem. We'll work on it. When I say handle that, I mean we're working on it, right? I don't fix anything. What I do is I take my knowledge, I take amazing products, I take experience and knowledge on diet, and I take all that and I coach you, and then you need to help me get everything done, right? I tell everyone, I cannot be over your shoulder watching every single plate that you take out and everything that you take out of the kitchen. Like, there's discipline required. So that's why I say we can handle that means if you do the right things, we can handle it, not a problem. Herbalife teas, probably pretty good. No, tea is good, I think. Just look on the ingredients. Are the ingredients good or the ingredients bad? I've never had frog legs. Good. Let's see. 2 more questions, and then we'll call it a night. We're going to push the hour and a half, but it's Friday, so we can stay up late and get up late, hopefully. Let's see here. Looking for two more questions. I'm sure you guys have 2 more questions inside of you. What do I eat for breakfast? That depends. Usually I fast. Usually I'm fasting from about 8 o'clock till about 1 o'clock the next day. Usually with some coffee in the morning. However, sometimes I get hungry in the morning and I just want something. And I usually, honestly, if I do have breakfast, which is maybe once, twice a week max, sometimes none, it's usually a bunch of eggs with maybe some meat thrown in or some cheese and butter, and that's pretty much it. Okay. One last question. Okay. Now, so some person said keto was bad. Now, not bad in general, but bad for the body. So let me tell you, this is what I'll answer. I'll answer for this last one, okay? Hot flashes, we have to handle hormones. We do that. Okay, keto. If you do keto while you're having a lot of problems with the body, whether it's toxicity, heavy metals, pathogens, chemicals, etc., your body can get stuck on keto. There's several things you have to do. Keto, you must increase your water intake. And you must increase also your salt intake. It's required. Your body, when it's doing keto and carnivore, need minerals. They have to have minerals, okay? So you have to increase those. Now, on top of that, when I say keto, I don't mean everyone has. So standard keto, like the experts, they do upwards of 80% of their calories being fat. Not everyone can do that, okay? Not everyone can do 80% of your calories being fat. So I know people who do keto where they're, say, 50%, right? Or you can do a modified keto, right? One of the big things is, and I actually have a diet coming out, and I hate the word diet, but it's the only thing people know. They understand the word diet, where I teach you how to intuitively eat between carnivore and paleo. All right, how do you intuitively, meaning you get your proper amounts of fats in there. You're still going to burn ketones, right? You don't have to be 80% of your calories being fat to burn ketones. It could be lower than that and still burn ketones, okay? You got to get the carbs down. But I will intuitively show you how to monitor yourself and what is the proper style of eating for you, and that's super important. So, good. Apparently, there's been Q drops going on. I know there was a couple before I went on, so after this, I'm going to go look at those, and I'm going to look at a bunch of other stuff. But I appreciate all of you, and I hope this was a fun night. We dove into a lot of stuff. We dove deep down the rabbit hole, whether some like it or some don't like it. I will go more down that rabbit hole. I have no problem with that, and we will get some more information because I only had so much time. We will expand on that, okay? So, guys, I thank you all. We are going to do muscle testing soon because people keep asking what muscle testing looks like, and we'll have it. We'll do something with that. I want to make sure it looks good on film. Not like we know what we're doing, but I want to make sure it looks right on film with the right microphones, because if I stand too far away, I don't want the mic not picking up on. I want it to be a really good view for you guys, because you have to get it just right in the picture to make it look good, if that makes sense. So it's really more of a camera thing, not necessarily the testing stuff. So I want to make sure you guys get the best experience from that standpoint. So awesome, guys. I hope you had a lot of fun tonight. I hope you appreciate Dr. Williams. He's fantastic, and I hope there was a ton of value. And you can ask me any question you want. You can always message me. I get to him as fast as I possibly can. If I tell everyone, sometimes I'll miss something. I will tell you between my texts, my Facebook messages on 3 different pages, and about 4 emails. Sometimes things fall down the list and I just either didn't see it or couldn't get to it fast enough. I always give everyone permission. You can bug me, okay? Sometimes I don't remember everything. It just is what it is. It's not because I have dementia. It's just because I'm a boy, and I used to have ADD, and I can get distracted by stuff because I'm very passionate about everything. And so sometimes I'm all over the place, and I'll forget something or I'll miss something. So I give people permission to safely and nicely harass me, and I will. The more you actually are in my face, I will answer you. That's what I am. I am not one of those people that is going to just like ignore people because there's so many of you out there. No. If you bug me enough, like, I'm going to appreciate you bugged me, and I'm going to get back to you, okay? So I give you permission to an extent, okay? I will thank my lovely wife for you, because I know she's been pumping out serious content to you guys. And there's a little birdie tells me, I'm going to put her on the spot. A little birdie tells me she's going to create some amazing training. I'm not going to tell you what it is. She's going to create some amazing training via video that is going to help all of you mommies and daddies at home with your kids' health, and to turn you guys into rock stars. So I can't tell you too much, but I am putting her on the spot enough where she's going to finish that stuff off, and she's going to set it up and give you guys some tools that will blow your mind and help you honestly radically change your family's health. So keep an eye out for that, because it's going to be pretty awesome, okay? Guys, I love you all. I hope there was value to you. Go serve, help somebody as always, and I appreciate you guys all very much. And my goal for this is we're going to blow this up. We're going to put this We're going to take all of this information and we're going to spread it to the masses. So share, share, share. Go subscribe to the podcast. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Push this out there. Send your friends. Let's fix and change America and the world. Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network signing off. Have a beautiful Friday night, a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys soon.